So the Euros 2024 are now down to their final 4 teams as the semi-finals is just around the corner. We got England versus the Netherlands, we got Spain versus France, and we got some really interesting matchups. And so in this video we are going to break down both of these matchups. We're going to explore the tactical and the mental side behind both of these matchups. Who are going to win, who's going to advance to the final, and who is going to be crowned champion. In this video we're going to break down the Euros 2024 semi-finals. So overall in this Euros, it's been quite up and down. There's been a lot of good matches and there's been some interesting matchups which we've seen in the group stages, round of 16s and quarterfinals. There's been a lot of boring matches as well, England being in a lot of them. But one thing that's been consistent throughout the whole tournament are the fans. I feel like having the tournament at Germany has really helped a lot of countries like get to Germany and support their team, and it just feels like there's been an amazing atmosphere no matter what country is playing, and that's kind of helped make the Euros feel a bit more kind of exciting regardless of whether the teams are actually playing well or not. I think another theme that we've seen throughout the tournament is pressure management. There have been some teams which have been great at managing pressure, and we might break down a couple of them, but there's also been some teams which have done terrible in managing that pressure, and that's kind of helped them or made them kind of either have an early exit from the tournament, or it's just made them not perform to the ability that we see them do when they're playing at their club. But regardless of all of those common themes, we do have 4 teams that are now in the semi-finals, and so let's break them down. First, we are going to look at Spain versus France. Spain getting to this point of the tournament, it has been very, very dominant for them. In the group stages, round of 16 and in their quarterfinals, they've really just been at a high level throughout the whole tournament. We see both sides on the wing with Yamal and Williams just being dominant. Even though they are young in age, they're not showing that in their abilities. I feel like them performing at the level that they have been from the get-go has really helped them sustain that as they've progressed into those more competitive matches in the round of 16 and then ultimately beating Germany in the quarterfinals. That quarterfinal really felt like a final in and of itself, and I really did feel that whoever did win that match, it's likely will get to the final. And Spain being really explosive and dominant, it's looking likely that they will win this semi-final and then advance to the final. Spain didn't progress through this whole tournament without any issues to think about, so entering into this semi-final they do have a couple injuries, they do have some suspensions following the red card and a couple yellow cards, so that does have an impact on the tactical elements of what Spain can do, as well as some of the mental elements, going against a France side which haven't been playing well, but it is a semi-final and they do have some star names. And so going into that match, some of these elements and knowing that their team isn't as strong as what they were in the group stages could play at some disadvantages when they are in this match. And so if we turn our attention to France are a team that on paper they just look amazing. Lots of different positions on the field, they have world-class players, but this has only been shown on paper. Looking at their matches in the group stages, round of 16, quarterfinals, they just haven't been able to put all that potential and all the things that we see at club level on the international stage. And so it hasn't been a great tournament for them, and they've in all honesty been one of the big disappointments of the tournament. But regardless of how they've been playing and the lack of play that they've been showing, somehow they've been finding a way to win all these matches, and now they're at a stage where they could actually win the tournament, which is crazy to think about because they haven't even scored a goal in open play. And if you put Mbappe in goals and him together, you would really think that he would be dominant and be kind of showcasing why he's kind of a world-class player, but he just really hasn't been showing that, nor has a lot of players on that team. So it doesn't look good for them, but it is a semi-final. They do have a lot of potential in their team, and it could be a case of, on those bright lights, a lot of those players have performed in high pressure situations and performed well, and so it could be a case in this semi-final that they do kind of turn up. However, based on all the previous performances of this match and the momentum coming into this semi-final, I'm definitely giving it to Spain. I think Spain are just so explosive, and I don't think France have the ability to bounce back if then Spain kind of get off on the right foot, maybe score a goal early and they're quite dominant. And so I'm going with Spain to take the win and for them to kind of advance to the final. Next, we have England versus Netherlands. England, oh my goodness, they do not make life easy for themselves. It has been something that's given me grey hairs probably the last couple of weeks watching them play. On paper, they're really good, similar to France. They've got great players, world-class players that are actually playing in their prime right now. But just on this international stage so far in the tournament, they just haven't been able to put everything together. England are a bit different from France in that the way that they've been playing from a tactical standpoint, it really just feels like they're trying to focus on star players kind of putting their emphasis on the game, and the star players just kind of taken over the game, rather than France, where they do play a bit more of a team style, where their manager focuses on getting them into the attacking positions and then leaving their star players to then kind of help score. England are more of a case where it's like, it just doesn't feel like tactically there's anything going on, and the main focus is just trying to get those star players to then perform well in every single phase of the game. So far that just hasn't happened. There's been one or two elements of that in the round of 16 game, and of course in the semi-final against Switzerland with Bukayo Saka scoring a great goal. But is that a great recipe for teams to be successful? Yes, it's worked for them to get to the semi-final, but now when you're playing against these elite players and these elite teams which have a lot of momentum, is that really going to be helpful going to and progressing to the semi-final, final, and then maybe winning it? Who knows? Looking at England from a psychological perspective, one thing that they've actually done really well is pressure management. Coming into this tournament, one of the psychological areas I thought which were going to be really important was pressure management. And even though England have had a lot of boring matches, when it's gotten to that late stage of the match, or when it's gotten to those penalty shootouts, situations when pressure is at an all-time high, they've been able to manage their emotions and perform specific techniques and work with their teammates to produce that desired performance. And that's what's got them to the semi-final. So their ability to manage pressure has been great, and that could be a positive psychological factor which could help them in this semi-final. I think another psychological area that's really going to be important for England is role clarity. England are a team that, yes, have got all these great players, but some of them are playing out of position. Some of them, of course, aren't used to playing with other teammates that they are playing with on the international level. And so their role clarity, I feel, has been not great throughout this tournament. And that might be an indication as to why players play extremely well for their club, but they're not so well internationally. By better understanding their role, better understanding what the coach is asking for them in specific moments of the match, that could be a deciding psychological element which could also help them. Now looking on the other side, Netherlands, they've been pretty good. They're a team that just throughout the tournament, it just feels like game by game, moment by moment, they're just getting better and better and better and better. And so they're getting to this point now in the semi-final, coming with a lot of momentum. From a psychological perspective, it really does feel like they do have a great balance between their team of different elements. They got great defenders, midfield players, then attackers, and it just feels like they have a high level of team cohesion, and that's put them in great positions to kind of score. Also, from a tactical point of view, I think their coach has been doing a great job. He's been making great substitutions at timely situations, and that's put them in position to have one of the best kind of goal scoring records with any team in the tournament. And so we got the Netherlands, who have high levels of team cohesion and really good kind of coaching tactics, against England, who have great star power and great pressure management but not great role clarity. So it does look like it will be an interesting match where some psychological elements I feel are going to be much more important for that semi-final compared to the France and Spain match. Ultimately, I am sticking with my previous prediction. I'm going with England to win this. Wouldn't be surprised if it goes to penalties, and in those moments I think with England's ability to manage pressure they should do well, and so I'm going with England versus Spain in the final. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Who do you have winning and why? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.